This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by State Farm Insurance.
Well, the drying out continues on parts of Delmarva after many communities spent the better part of the weekend and beginning of this week flooded. The recent nor'easter just dumped water behind. And
it left a mess to clean up. As you can see, crews here in Ocean City trying to deal with beach erosion. A lot of the sand was blown south to the boardwalk and inlet, which was one of the hardest hit areas in the storm. It's probably safe to say certain areas of Delmarva didn't get hit with too much damage because of the preparations they took before the storm. Things like sandbagging, removing debris from the yard, that can really go a long way.
Yeah, imagine having to prepare for a storm with mere moments to spare. Now, I'm not just talking about getting your home ready, but what if you had to evacuate and fast? Are you confident you would grab everything you need and everything that needs you?
Reporter Julie Watts puts one family to the test.
Hi. Hi. We're doing a story on disaster preparedness. How prepared are you for a fire or an earthquake right now?
Oh, not very prepared.
And Lori Lawson is not alone. Census data shows only about half of Americans have an emergency evacuation kit, though Lori says it is on her mind following a recent fire in her Novato neighborhood that forced the family to evacuate.
You're just like, okay, get me out of the house, and you just don't really care what you take.
So we have a challenge for you. Grab whatever you can in the house if you had 10 minutes to get out.
10 minutes?
Lori reluctantly agreed, and while she ran around the house, we took a little inventory, noting Ruby the dog and some irreplaceable artwork.
I think I'd grab you.
A short time later, we took stock of all that she grabbed.
My computer with all of the, all of our account information and everything like that, all the chargers in case we need to contact people, and phones.
She realized she couldn't grab important documents because she didn't have the combo to the safe.
We noticed you have a dog.
Oh yeah, I definitely, okay, yeah.
Pet owners should plan to grab leashes, food, and color photos of their pets in case they get lost. Also important, prescriptions, clothes, and for the kids, a favorite stuffed animal for comfort.
I just have these 2 journals that I write for my daughters, and so it would be nice.
And that's when it really hit home for Lori.
I'd like to grab a million more things, but the most important, definitely when I left the other day, we're like, we got each other, so.
Think about it, Lisa. If you were put on the spot, what would you want to grab?
Oh my goodness. Well, I obviously want to take my animals, my dog and my rabbit, but beyond that, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I would bring my laptop and maybe my hard drive. That's the only thing I can think of. Well, besides the personal things you'd want to take, we also stress the importance of having an emergency kit ready to go.
Now, with this last storm, if your home was lucky enough to avoid damage, then consider yourself just that, lucky. But perhaps the storm really opened your eyes at how unprepared your home is should bad weather strike again.
Well, now's the time to get on it and prepare. Joining us with some steps we can take is Megan Holitic, State Farm Insurance Agent in Cambridge. Megan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So with this past storm, a lot of people found water where they didn't want it. So why is it important to find the source of that water?
Oh, it's definitely important. You want to make sure that if it's pooling outside of your house, you know where it's coming from, because it could seep into your foundation, especially if you have a basement or a crawl space underneath your house. You want to make sure that they're clear.
And you're talking about places underneath, but our gutters, they can get clogged, and that's a source as well, right?
Exactly. I recently had that myself. My gutters, I had water coming out of the wrong end of the gutter. It wasn't coming out where it was supposed to, so it was clogged. And you want to make sure that your gutters are clear, make sure there's no debris in the way, and also just make sure that they're secure to the home as well.
And sometimes people forget about the actual downspout part of the gutter. Why is that important to remember?
You want to make sure it goes away from the house. You don't want that water pooling around your house again, coming into the foundation. You want to make sure that it gets out and away, to the street or
Makes
to
sense. Send it away from the house.
Exactly.
Now, if water does get into our house, it's important to have a sump pump, right?
Yes, definitely. Have a sump pump and make sure that it works. When we have power outages and things like that, the sump pump can fail. You want to make sure that it's reset and that it's working. Check on it, especially when there's a lot of water, a lot of wind and rain, things like that. Go check on it, periodically, to make sure that it is working properly.
All right, so we can't talk about preparing for the unexpected without talking about preparing for a fire.
Exactly. We want to make sure that your home is protected from fire by smoke detectors, working smoke detectors. Hear the beep where you sleep is the theme for the National Fire Prevention this week. You want to make sure every bedroom has a fire alarm. Outside each sleeping area has a fire alarm. Every level of your home, including your basement, has a smoke detector. And larger homes, you want more alarms available.
And we also want to think about carbon monoxide detectors as well.
Exactly. And again, you know, check the batteries. Make sure that the batteries are working. And those devices, smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors, need to be replaced every 10 years or so.
It is important to remember to change the batteries. You think they're up there, you think you're good to go, but if the batteries aren't in there, they're not working properly.
No, exactly.
Megan, thank you so much. And if you would like to read more on State Farm Insurance about emergency preparedness, go to WBOC.com and click on our picture at the top of the page.
Something else you may not be prepared for: getting older. As the aging process takes its course, many people need help with things they once found simple. Find out how a fellow senior may help.
And we're getting some help in the kitchen with a seafood dish that'll have everyone begging for more. Delmarva Life will be right back.